Boo, I
Look
say.
at that.
Boom.
Oh, look at Gary.
For anybody on Twitch who can see the
Is
thumbnail.
amazing.
I like that he's running in 2027.
Gary, I'll fuck you.
Oh, Gary's amazing. Amazing.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, terrifying.
so good.
Terrifying. Which one's the most terrifying, Tom? Which one for you is the most terrifying?
Oh man.
I'm going with the
Hard to
the
say.
girl on the left. That
Yes.
is scary.
That's
'Cause
weirdly
Gary
upsetting.
sized. It's Gary
That's
sized
true.
too. It's actually Gary sized. So if
Yeah.
Gary was infiltrating this press conference, he would be the one on the left. For
I
sure.
don't know, man, because that looming giant Gary behind her, like fucking Franken Gary,
That's a big fucking Gary back there.
terrifying, enormous Franken
Diesel.
Gary.
Fucking huge Gary.
How
man.
about
That's a
fat
fucking-
Gary
that's-
over by the hose reel?
Yeah, no, that's fucking Kingpin Gary over there. That's what that is.
I like the sad
giant
Gary with his
Gary-
head down with the hat on. Like,
a
fuck, I
sleepy
can't
Gary,
believe I'm
that's
here.
sleepy Gary. But I think giant Gary behind that woman is Metro Security Gary. You know, they get a big dude kind of out of shape just to stand there and look ominous.
Jesus Christ, that's
I remember
amazing.
I was at this party, a New Year's Eve party, gosh, decades ago, and it was we were all hanging out, and they had one of those guys who was a big guy, one of those big guys, be their bouncer for this party, and as soon as shit dropped, that guy left. He just walked out. There are people are fighting. There's a huge crowd of people fighting, and that guy was just. He says, "I was just here to look tough. I'm not here to act tough." Peace. And he walked the fuck right out. He
like, no,
fucking he bolted.
I'm not
I don't
actually
blame
getting
him either.
paid for this
How
shit.
much are you paying? You know, how
Right.
much you paying a guy to be at your shitty party? Paying him any money? Hey,
Fuck
Stream,
that.
how's everybody doing?
Oh,
How's
man.
everybody doing tonight? All right. What just happened? There we go.
Well, this is a
Gotta zoom in and Tom there.
see. So this is a more lighthearted stream.
Yeah,
I feel good about this stream, buddy. It's
Yeah.
been,
Yeah.
I don't know, 6 weeks or something since election night, and we sort of have an answer-ish,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
I mean, like, Biden has all the electoral votes he needs. We just need, I guess, the process to affirm him now.
Yeah. They're going
Please,
they're-
process.
They're starting with the certifications now, and none of the voter fraud stuff has come out. Someone asked what I'm drinking. I'm drinking what I always drink. I'm slowly working my way through this Knob Creek bottle, which I will say, since Tom never got to touch this. So Tom never, except for last week. When
Last
Tom
week,
was here
yeah,
in
when
the
I
studio.
election night, I had a little bit.
Yeah, Tom had a little bit, but I'm the only one, and I'm actually kind of proud of this because I don't drink a lot of whiskey.
No, you
So I
don't.
drink once in a great while, but I'll drink when I'm on the stream like every other week. And so this is how much I've drank since the pandemic started and we started coming back to the studio. So maybe that's I don't know, maybe that's a
Everybody's
indicator
drinking a
of
little more
something.
these days, Cecil, with the
An indicator of something.
Right.
But they're starting to do that certification process, and none of those claims of fucking voter fraud are even fucking they're not even real. None of them.
Yeah,
are
but
fucking
reality
real,
doesn't
so-
matter in 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, do you think the 70 million? I mean, obviously some of them will, but how rampant do you think, out of curiosity, the Trump side is going to stick with this narrative? Because he's never going to correct his narrative. He's never going to say, you know what? Turns out we looked into it. Great election, not fraudulent. Hats off, Joe
No,
Biden. That's not going to
There's
happen.
there's gonna be a bunch of people that stick with that narrative.
For so many people, this is going to be a presidency with an asterisk on it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
just
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
which is nuts,
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ian, for booking us at the Four Seasons Total Landscaping. I appreciate you going through the trouble to do this. I hear it's a hard venue to book, and so I'm very happy that. Gosh, you gotta beat the fucking Republicans away with a stick to get in here. It's like, and this is the new Carnegie Hall. It's Four Seasons Total Landscaping, Carnegie Hall. I think those are the two. Those are the two major places that you can play nowadays. So thank you so much, Ian, for going through the. Everybody say thank you, Ian, in chat. If everybody could just say thank you, Ian, type that into chat just for Ian, because we really do want to thank him for putting this together today. It's very important to us that we were able to push Rudy Giuliani to the 10 o'clock spot tonight.
Hey, Cecil. Susan in chat is asking if that is a good whiskey for a whiskey newbie to try. That's a good question. If you're introducing somebody to whiskey, I think, first of all, if you're introducing somebody to whiskey, introduce them to bourbon. I think of the whiskeys, it's an accessible style of whiskey. I think Scotch is much less accessible. It takes a little more getting used to. It's a little more complex.
Yeah.
It's got different options. Bourbon's a little sweeter, so I think the American palate is a little more happy with bourbon in general. I think
I will say Woodford is a very good. Jefferson's is another really good one.
Yeah.
Because they're both real smooth.
Right.
Those are both real smooth. This has a little bit of harshness to it. More harsh. It's not as harsh as Maker's, but it's harsher than, say, Woodford Reserve. And I think Woodford Reserve's a great smooth bourbon, and so is Jefferson's. I think those are real good, smooth bourbon. Someone's posting your stream in chat there, Ian. I would be very careful.
Somebody in this set says Blanton's is my go-to intro bourbon.
Muted my mic. Muted my mic. You can't mute my mic. What are you doing? You're fired, motherfucker. You can't mute my mic.
Oh my God, that's great.
I will say too. You're not fired. Don't leave, Ian. I don't know how to turn all this stuff on.
Would just be on forever.
You can't leave. You can't, in fact, you have a raise now. You have a raise. Stay. Please stay. You have a raise. No, but I will say with Scotch, one of the one Scotch that I think is very accessible as a good whiskey is Glenlivet. The Glenlivet is a very accessible Scotch. Really low notes, and so it's a real smooth.
It's mild.
Mild palate. Very good Scotch. Rachel says Glenmorangie also. That's also another one that's really smooth. It's very sweet-ish, and so that's a good one too. And I was gonna say, someone says Jameson's Irish whiskey. That's a great whiskey to introduce somebody to. And that goes down like nothing. It's literally like pouring water down your mouth.
Yeah, it just doesn't. You wouldn't know if you liked whiskey though. You know, that's
you got to get started somewhere.
You got to
know
start
what I mean?
somewhere.
You got to get.
I know. I know.
When I was a kid,
Yeah.
my dad used to let me sip the foam off the Hams beer when I was a kid, and that told me I thought Hams was garbage, and so I was right.
I have never had a Hams.
I've been right.
I have never had it. Yeah. What is your favorite cheap beer? Just like an everyday beer.
Cheap. I don't know if it's cheap. Modelo, is that cheap?
I was gonna. Yeah, Modelo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fairly. Pabst Blue
the
Ribbon is
gold,
not actually too
the
bad.
Dark.
Yeah,
I haven't had a Pabst in years, so I don't know.
I had a PBR not that long ago on draft. A PBR is not actually a bad drink, but I have never had a Hams. My stepdad used to drink Michelob all the time. Michelob was his beer.
You know what's good in cans is Heineken.
You've said that before. Is it skunky?
Heineken in a can. No, Heineken in a can isn't skunky. It's the green fucking bottle that makes it skunky.
Yeah.
Heineken in a can, ice cold in a can, it's like a lawnmower beer. It's amazing. But I won't drink it out of a bottle, and I won't drink it out of the tap. But I will drink it from a can, and I think it's very good in a can. But you got to find cans. You got to find Heineken cans.
Oh, my God. Somebody is saying Colt 45. Colt 45 is horrifying. Colt 45
really
is a horror.
Old English is really bad. The 40s of Old English. Do you remember drinking those?
I don't think I ever drank a 40 of Old English. I drank when I would get 40s with our friend. So we have a mutual friend that worked at the same place that we used to work at Circuit City back in the day. And every now and again, we'd grab 40s and go drink them in the parking lot and then go to the movies. So we'd go to lunch. In the middle of the day, we'd go to lunch, get a 40, drink it in the parking lot, go see a movie for lunch, and then come back to work. And I picked, for whatever reason, I would drink Mickey's. And holy shit, is that bad.
Mickey's is terrible.
It's just
terrible. Malt liquor's bad.
It's so bad. It's all just horrifying.
Ugh.
Just horrifying.
I remember when I was in high school, Everybody used to drink Mad Dog 2020. Have you ever had those?
I've not. No, no.
Oh, that's terrible. Boone's Farm is another thing they used to drink, which is like a fortified wine.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a terrible fortified wine that comes in colors that don't exist in nature. It's the worst shit you've ever had in your entire life. If you want to puke in Technicolor, though, go for Boone's Farm. That's
where you're at.
Absolutely. Yeah. Alcohol review. That's what we should start.
That's
Tom,
what we
is
should
an
do it.
alcohol review podcast. Absolutely.
We'll call it
right.
Pickle Your Liver or something.